All right.
Yeah.
Story number 3, combination 3 and 4 here. How NFTs and Web3 are bringing a new content wave. This is out of Analytics Insight. The market for Web3 digital products is growing. Web3 connects directly between the creators and the audience, which we know. And so they give an example in this article of RAC, R-A-C, a Grammy award-winning musician who earned $40,000 selling a copy of his one single to 100 fans. And to earn that on Spotify, this dude would have needed to have sold 9.7 million downloads. So the point is, you can make a lot more money in the Web3 as an artist, which we know. I'm coupling that with the Ad Age, which is the marketing award company. They now have introduced a Web3 marketing award. They are going to be honoring the most talented creatives in Web3 technology for marketing, and that includes things like video games, mixed reality, virtual fashion. So this is out of Ad Age. We're seeing the evolution in real time of Web3 in advertising and marketing. Thoughts? Michelle, this is your world, content marketing queen.
Interestingly, I just watched on Netflix the Spotify documentary about how Spotify started, and it's not quite true to life, but fairly well is. And it was really interesting about how the artists, and if those of you that know about the Spotify story, you'll know that over time, and perhaps even more recently now with this kind of thing coming out, that artists were not happy with the amount of money that they were making, and people like Taylor Swift and those sorts of artists actually pulled their catalogs off of Spotify in the early days. I think everybody's kind of back on it again now. But the fact that artists like this Grammy award-winning artist, and creators in the digital art space and in the real art space are also able to make a lot of money by selling digital NFTs of their art, whether it be art that they've created only digitally or whether or not they've got real art to complement a digital piece. It is very difficult as an artist to break into the market of getting your art in a gallery or being in a collection and those sorts of things. And NFT marketplaces have enabled artists, a lot of artists, people to make a living from doing this now, cutting out that middleman, so to speak. And I think it's only the beginning. And those companies, like the record labels and the institutions that buy and sell artworks, have to start thinking about how they can move to a position where they actually assist artists finding buyers for their work, rather than being the people in the middle to say, well, no, because you won't take the deal that we've decided on, you can't have your piece in our gallery, therefore you won't ever sell it, etc.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's pretty ironic about this story now, almost a year after we all met at the Creator Economy Expo, right? So the whole concept of using this as a tool for creators is nothing new as far as I'm concerned, because it's really where we all met.
It is to Amazon.
Well, I mean, maybe not. They've been hiring people for 2 years. So look, again, we reiterate the same points, but again, there's some that really need to be reiterated because of their relevance. From a creator perspective, there are specific tools that you use to build your brand, right? The ability for you to have more control over your brand / assets / products or services using Web3 technology is very encouraging. But this is nothing more than a tool to help you build that brand or that community, right? So it's no different from you starting a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or Twitter following. This is just another arm to help you build on that community and those efforts. There's a ton of ways you can do it. And the opportunity of using what an NFT could be versus what an NFT is a prime example of that. So for example, like, the Creator Economy Expo, that was the talk of the entire event. We were all there. The Web3 construct, how Web3 is going to play a role in that type of environment moving forward. And I think one of the more interesting parts about that particular event was the technology was so new. everybody's still trying to understand it. But you take these creative marketing minds and you put this technology now on the table for them to utilize. This year's event, it's going to be very interesting to see what types of developments and progressive steps were taken in people building out their brand using the technology. We have other communities that we're involved in as well. Food Fight Studios has a cohort and, you know, a Web3 kind of track to their community building efforts. There's people that have no idea what it is, but they're trying to build brands for themselves, Twitter, YouTube, and obviously back certain things up using blockchain technology and Web3. The more information that's out there, the easier it's going to be for people to adopt it.
We'd all be remiss if I didn't mention here the Decrypt article, social token platform rally shutting down. Ethereum-based platform for creators launched the social tokens. They are sunsetting their Ethereum sidechain, citing market headwinds. So
as
the
of
creator economy is, what's that?
As of yesterday.
Yeah.
31st of January. Yeah.
So we all have been involved in that indirectly to directly. And I think that the creator economy is alive and well, but the social token aspect of it is stumbling because of this Web 2, Web 3 confusion. Back to the same point.
I disagree. I disagree. You Rally was an example of a house of cards, right? You can't continue to build up if the foundation is not secure, and that foundation was only as secure as Rally was. So you could have the best creator coin, the best economy, the best community ever, but it all leverages itself on what our friend likes to call rented land. When you say
a house of cards, it wasn't a Ponzi, Mike. It was a real company doing real things. That the problem
you use the P word, not me.
No, I mean, you didn't get paid out under new people coming in, or did you?
It's not what a house of cards is. A house of cards is a construct that's built where if the base of it falls out, everything falls out on top of it.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened.
And the rally token was the base in this, wasn't it?
Correct.
Right.
Which is really, if you think about it, if Ethereum crumbles, everything crumbles from that's built on Ethereum, right? It's no different from any of that. But if the U.S. economy crumbles, then if the U.S. dollar crumbles, then everything that's built on the U.S. dollar also crumbles. It's just the state. It's just the laws of economics and the way that things are constructed. It's no different. The reality is that when you have a company or an organization like Rally, and that's the one that's spearheading this, and you can't get yourself out of that scenario, that's where the creator token or the economy suffers. The idea of it suffers for people who are not familiar with the way the technology is built out. I think I've told this story on this show. After that CEX event, when I met Rally at the event, I went home and I tried to apply to get my own social token. I was denied. I don't have a following on social media. So what did I do? I went out and tried to figure out how I could do it without them. And I did it. I was able to mint my own token. I provide that token to members of my community, my clients, the ones that are looking to get into Web3. That is just an element that I was able to do research, and I was kind of pissed that they denied me anyway. But overall, it kind of worked out for the best because I got to understand the technology component behind it and realized that I really didn't even need them.
So this takes us back to the conversations we had at CEX, and actually it was Zach Fowler brought it up earlier in the chats. The platform that's built on the chain matters, right? It really makes a difference where you start your token out or your coin or whatever program or project you're going to be doing. I think that people just think that Web3 is Web3. Like it's that. It's like, but I view it as the term sales. Like, are we selling pools or are we selling Lamborghinis? Like it could mean a lot of things. Web3 is not a clearly understood concept, and building on Web3 as a result of that is a very tenuous thing right now.
Do your own damn research is the commonality, right? Like, just, you got to know what you're building on. You know, everybody that I guess built on MySpace failed, right? You know, MySpace doesn't exist anymore.
We got Pepsi Clear and MySpace, Crystal Pepsi, whatever.
There we go. We're going
Google Plus,
all of that stuff. I mean, you know, look, overall, we're going to try to leverage tools to the best of our ability, but the exit ramp has to be there. And if it's not there, that's a red flag. There was no exit ramp to Rally.
We've talked about this before, that people will migrate to Web3 when they don't realize it's Web3. I think that actually might have been your quote, Mike. The reality is that it's still clearly delineated, right? There's not, this whole Web3 thing is still clunky. You've got failing projects that take down other coins. I don't think it's going to be, we're not coming into the clear anytime soon, in my opinion. And I hope I'm wrong.
But I think one of the things that we would all agree with is the opportunities that are emerging, that are already here, and the ones to come, means that it is going to be far easier for people to onboard if they've got an idea or a following or like a business already. I mean, I don't think that there's been a better time for you to, if you've got a passion or an idea for, even if you don't want to create a business, but you've got an idea about something, whether you're passionate about crocheting or knitting or travel or whatever, I think that right now, the ability to be able to get an audience for that, which ultimately might lead you to creating a business and then earning money, is almost endless right now, and probably more so than any other time in history.
Right. So I read an article the other day that I thought was extremely interesting. I should have actually provided it here. I posted it in the Food Fight server. Rather than trusting projects to help you understand what's going on in Web3, just try to understand the technology. And if you can get the trust of the technology, apes and coins and this and FTXs and all that's a moot point. It doesn't mean anything anymore. If you understand the value proposition behind the technology and you use that as a way to basically call out projects that are doomed to fail or that are going to rug people, your appreciation and the educational component of where this goes is going to be that much better.
Mike, I love you. Nobody gives a rat's ass how the technology works, even in Web3.
I disagree.
I don't care. I don't care.
Disagree with you wholeheartedly.
I'm going to take us back in history to the Betamax, VCR debates. Like, no one knew how that tech worked, or fiber optic cable.
What
right?
about a telephone? What
there
about a
wasn't
TV?
the security implications on those that there are with this.
True.
There's financial security implications that are associated with this, right? Like, you don't need to understand the thorough intricacies of how a bank operates, but they have a vault. They somehow have a way to protect your assets when you put them in there.
But I don't care when I swipe my credit card what data packets are being transferred on that network. I really don't. I just know that I have to wait 2 extra seconds for my MasterCard than my Amex. So all I'm saying is, and I'm not, I agree with you. If we could, that is how you call out the rugs. That is how we move this forward. People have to understand what they're getting involved. But this is the buyer beware thing where you've got bad actors. Like, we can all trust that Amazon will try to do the right thing to build their business the right way, right? That's fine. 99% of the companies out there doing things in Web3, we don't know, right? This is going back to the transparency of a blockchain and what that should enable. So I don't know that people will educate themselves properly. I think that this is where a MetaMask or an Apple Pay that makes it simple, really simple, will onboard the folks.
The app that makes people waffles. I don't disagree with you.
There you go.
The app has to be on a system that people can trust, and that's trusting the technology.
Well, right? Now you're talking traditional finance, my friend.
Well, you're talking about traditional consumerism.
Your area.
Right? Apple can slap their logo on anything, and there'll be a line around the corner for people to buy it, right? Yes. Understanding the technology is to the point where it makes their life a little easier. And that's kind of what I'm referring to. It doesn't necessarily get defined by one successful project or one monumental failure. And if you can understand that there's a gray area in between where most people, projects, and businesses can thrive, then the technology will be more adoptable.
But don't expect the people to figure that out.
I'm not saying that everybody needs to understand what a blockchain is, how it works, read a book, take a seminar. Like, you don't need to know how an iPhone works as long as it takes pictures and posts selfies. That's all you care about.
Right. I agree with. And I think that's, we're on the same page.